Hello. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Sorry I'm a few minutes late, just getting stuff ready. Gotta make sure my hair looks good since you guys aren't gonna see me for 90% of the stream. How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys can hear me all right. What's up, Duff Man? Thanks for being here. Thanks again for being a channel member. What's up, Mr. Mom? Doug, what's going on? Thank you guys for the likes. Thanks for being here. What's up, Bjorn? Let's talk dioramas and toys and goof around and do the things that I do and we do. Yeah, so I went to a toy swap today. I went to a toy swap here in Northern Nevada. I got to meet Jurassic Jesse. If you guys watch the Toy Migos channel, you know that Jurassic Jesse is over there, and he took a break from doing the live streams, but he's still active with them. And I got to see him in person and say hi, so it was cool to meet Jesse. And I shared a picture on my Instagram story, by the way. What's up, New Future? Thanks for coming by. Thank you, Dragon Eyes. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys, all my channel members, for being here. I really appreciate your support. And again, any donations or super chats that come through on this stream, because this is another tiny art experiment based stream, are going to go to getting a photographer to the diorama, getting the diorama to the photographer, or whatever I might need to spend maintaining that diorama piece, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. I've done 99% of the work on the actual buildings and stuff that I needed to show you guys. So you guys know exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So the rest of the stuff that I'm going to finish as far as weathering wise, I'm probably going to do off screen before the end of February when I bring it to the IMOMA, the International Market of Miniature Artisans in Las Vegas, hosted by PRD Miniatures and two other folks. I can't remember their account names, forgive me. But I will be there at the end of February in Las Vegas. If you want to go check out their website, it's linked below. It's imomalv.com. And if you want to go, they have cheap hotel rooms in a good casino where it's being handled. Good hotel, I should say, not casino. Casino hotel. Everything in Vegas is a casino and hotel. But you can get really good room rates if you guys wanted to go or you're not that far away. I wouldn't encourage you to go crazy and spend a bunch of money just to come and look at other people's miniatures for sale, because that's what a lot of it is. But there'll be people teaching stuff there and whatever. What's up, Craftinator? And there'll be other people to meet there and things to do. And of course, it's Las Vegas, so if you need a vacation, there you go. But they have cheap rooms, and that was like, I was booking my room finally like 2 nights ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the cheapest hotel room I've booked since I was like 10 years old, because it's extremely affordable. So anyways, just a random side thought. I did not realize how cheap they were, because you get a room block number if you go to their website and you call the hotel or book it online and use that number, and it drops the price down from like $1 billion down to like less than $1 billion. So anyways, if you guys want to go, I'm not trying to shill it or anything because I don't get paid for this. I'm just going to be there with the tiny art experiment. So if anyone wants to go, just want to make sure you have access to the right information so that you can afford to go if you want to go, and it's not a hardship on anybody. Yeah, thanks again for being here, guys, on a Saturday. I know this is not normally Sunday. I got something I got to do tomorrow, so we're doing a Saturday stream this time, and I want to show you guys some of the other artists' amazing stuff. And we're going to go over in this video how to make Tatooine-style canyon walls. One way. There's a billion ways you could do it. Like, really, literally a billion ways you could do it. I've explored many of them, but this is the one I'm going to do for this, because we have... What's up, Troy? Thanks for being here. We have pod racers made by... What's up, Fine Tip Creative Studio? Guys, go check out Fine Tip Creative Studios. That's a father and son team I met in Vegas when I was down there for that in-art event. A couple of cool guys. But we're going to show you guys how I am going to go about making pod racer canyons or canyon walls for the two pod racers made by, correct me if I'm wrong, Bugle Studios and The Stuff of Tim are the two accounts on Instagram that each made us a custom scratch-built pod racer. And I'll show you guys those in a minute. But I'm going to go over how to build those canyon walls so you guys can do it on your own to whatever size or scale, or apply the technique to whatever you want. So that's what I'm going to do in this video after showcasing some of these artists' amazing work. Thank you guys for the 5 thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Let's get to it. Let's show you guys some of the other stuff I didn't show off last week here. So let me move this over here. I got a couple of boxes of stuff I took to the toy swap that didn't sell. But so this is Fresh from New Jersey. I believe Raul changed his account name. It used to be Diorama Accessories. I haven't had a chance to double check. But he made these resin cast pieces. I only have used a couple, but I'll probably paint these and stick them onto some other parts before I wrap this up. But he made these resin cast pieces, and he sent me this cool hoses and wires. So I'm going to try to fit all of this into the piece here before I wrap it up. Some things he made and sent. I think he was like our second person. Oh, and he sent me all these cool accessory pieces to use. So I got to probably grab a couple of buildings and find a way to incorporate these for added detail. So thank you, Diorama Accessories. This is a speeder that we had made. This is made by Devon's Drake, who is making some really incredible miniatures. Go check out Devon's Drake. Beautiful, beautiful art. This came, I think they're in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. This, if you're listening, Devon's Drake, correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. But he even made this custom box to ship it in. I'm gonna have to. There's a couple of pieces I'm gonna have to repair, but he made this custom speeder for us. So this is made out of a speaker, and that's a little motor there, a little RC, or not more RC motor, but a little tiny kit motor. There's a spray paint cap right there, and then we've got some little corkscrew. I think I recognize those from something like a model kit or something. And we have this, which I forgot. He told me what this piece was, but I can't remember. So he made this beautiful speeder that comes with little clear acrylic. As I drop his beautiful art, his little clear acrylic stand pieces here. No, this one. Yep. So we can stand this up in the sand, and it'll look like it's floating. So this is a really, really, really beautiful piece. So I can't believe how many people actually made vehicles for us too, because this is a lot of work. So we've got a little clear acrylic stand, so it can do a little floaty float for us. How cool is that? So, and we have characters to fill these in, and so look at this amazing custom box that he made, so he could ship it. So I'm going to basically let our photographers go nuts with this and set it up and use whatever characters they want with it. But this turned out incredible. I really want to do something like this on the channel. I did stuff like this as a kid, but I really haven't had a chance to do a kit bashed or a custom built ship or vehicle in a long time, or attempt it. And so I really want to do something like this. This was very inspiring to open. So this is one of our beautiful pieces that will be on display with all of the buildings that you guys see and live in Las Vegas. So this, I'm going to put this back here. He told me, he asked me the force to be with me, which was very kind. I can always use more of the force. You can never have enough force. And then he used these wonderful fabric pins to hold the box together. I thought this was kind of ingenious, actually. And Devon's Drake, if you're listening, I will probably steal this idea for some of my future projects. And he signed the box, Drake 21. So let me just set this aside. And we'll grab something else here. Ah, yes, okay. So this was some of our beautiful junk pieces that Vasco Toys made for us. You guys might know Vasco Toys. He's making some incredible stuff from scratch. He 3D printed some detail pieces, and then he combined some dollar store like robot pieces. If you go check out his Instagram account and the Tiny Art Experiment, part of the stipulation for people being able to send their art into this is they had to share the process by which they did it, or at least some details about how they did it, so that we could all learn from one another, which is why I'm doing this whole build, you know, in recorded pieces as well as live. And so he shows you how he did this over there. So this is one of the pieces, you can see some of the underside there, that I may put a wash over, just some umber wash, just to help incorporate it into the rest of the piece. But I think his coloring, he did a great job just matching this up to a nice Tatooine sort of sand color. But I will probably throw just a wash, a very thin wash over this, and let it settle in some of these areas, just so that the weathering looks like it's incorporated into the piece. So I promised all the artists I would, if I needed to adjust something to make it feel like it's part of the piece, I would, but I wouldn't change what they did aside from maybe like a wash. So we may do that here, because they're trying to operate off of like, you know, guesswork. So it's kind of hard to have it like all perfectly matched. So that's my job, is to bring it all together. So that's by Vasco Toys. And here, let's grab some other small things before I pull out the big things. What's up, guys? Thank you for the likes. Thank you for being here on a Saturday night. Here's some more pieces by 3Blessy on Instagram. Here is another speeder that they made. I showed you a character last week that they made. They sent me a ton of stuff. This is one of my favorite pieces they sent. Oop, some batting. I gotta peel off this. I have to clean this off. Sharp edges. They made this beautiful speeder, this little junk hauler. They even made a little tiny character to go on it. So look at that rusted probe droid head. Isn't that awesome? Just incredible. So cool. Such wow. Many dog. No. So this is one of my favorite pieces. I'm sure the photographers are going to have a field day with this. I mean, obviously this piece kind of makes it, but the contrast of the black with the rust and the yellow was wonderful choice. Love it, love it, love it. And we got a little R2-D2 spider droid made by 3 Lessie as well. Everything is articulatable, so you can have a creepy little Spiderian R2-D2. And, oh, actually, I forgot to show this piece last week. This was also made by Star Marvel. This was a little gyroscopic droid that he made. And this was part of his. I just have it in here with all these other characters. And he made it magnetic so you could turn it. Pretty ingenious. And I like the light gray that he used. Obviously K2SO and some parts mashups. But this, you can see the green glow that kind of matches his metal forge that he did. So there's that guy. And sorry, these are kind of buried in pieces of fluffy fabric. Oh, here we go. This is from Concrete Bubble. This is one of the detail pieces he made from, like, that looks like a cap to something, and some clear plastic pieces. He made the big door on the hotel looking building that I made. So this is one of his other contributions. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Here's another droid by 3 Lessie. I love this walking gonk. It's a walking gonk. Oops, pop that droid back in. There we go. It's a walking gonk droid. Everyone needs a walking gonk. Whoops. I'm happy to be in the possession of a donated one. This is one of the ones made by, and I apologize, bro, I can't remember your name. This is made by Elisa Jones, her son. He put this together with a couple of accessories that I think probably fell down to the bottom of the box, so I'll have to dig those out. But one of our bounty hunter chillin' dudes, so it's a cap from an Advil bottle. I'm old, I know this. Excellent. Thank you, Emil Flognoid. Cap from an Advil bottle. Perfect. Perfect Star Wars accessory. Save your Advil bottle, folks. Ah, this is one of my favorite droids that 3 Leslie sent here. Let me just... Ooh, I might have to do a little repair on the little cords here. That's okay. I love this little droid. I think that turned out great. Isn't it cute? And another one from 3 Lessie, I believe. I know what some of these parts are. So this is some droid parts. I don't know what this is, but this is a positive and negative barrel connector. You cut that off, or he cut that off, but that's where the DC power supply would have plugged in. And so he made like a little no disassemble style droid. So let me pop the head back on. But I love that he kept these articulatable too for a lot of this stuff. So no problem, Duff Man. And we got this little Cad Bane wannabe droid here. Not droid, sorry, character. Love this one too. Turned out great. Another one by 3 Lessie. And this little character. This is the one that drives the probe droid junk hauler. So it's designed, whoops, excuse me, for him to just drive this around, you know, picking up junk, maybe for Watto, I don't know. And what else we got? We have, oh, another speeder, again by 3 Lessie. I should probably put this in something that's less hairy. Another speeder by 3 Lessie. I think they sent me some little connector pieces to float these as well. Another beautiful custom painted speeder. And another character. I have to use the restroom again in the middle of the stream, but here, check that stuff out, guys. I'll be right back. Give me one moment. I'm coming back. Okay, sorry. Nature calls. We're done. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes the timing just doesn't work out. Okay. Here's another beautiful droid made by 3 Lessie. Our little grabby droid. We've got this where the you can see that's where the probe droid arms went. So these were the arms for the probe droid, plucked off and put on this beautiful little thing. So look how creative you can get. All right. Oh, and here's another one of, I think this is from Terry Richard Cooper, who was here last week. Hold on, let me just move some of this and get into here. More. Ah, okay. There we go. Here is some more junk. All right. No, this is made by, trying to go off memory here, and I have like 16 people I'm trying to remember here, and I'm mixing them up in my head. So I'm not going to try to quote who this is because I feel like I'll say it wrong. But I think this was Terry Richard Cooper, actually. I believe it was. I think I have another one of his other pieces around here somewhere. Where did you go? Well, maybe it's up there. Well, Terry was here last week, and he was talking in the chat. He actually has been to Tunisia and was part of the Save the Lars Homestead project in Tunisia, and where they actually restored the original set of Luke's home with Uncle and Aunt Beru. And so he was basing some of his color theory off of that, and he used a lot of cool junk scrap parts to create this. So what we might do is I might add some umber washes over some of these rocks and some of this, and then we'll sprinkle dirt over this, not dirt, but sand, and incorporate it in the diorama when we lay out the sand, and then when I take it off, I'll of course dust the sand off of it. But that's probably how it will get incorporated into the lovely piece. He's also got a hut he made that looked kind of like Luke's hut, but it must be in another box up there that I pushed back. Oh, this is another piece that White Wolf Dioramas made. That I still haven't, he sent it to me to go ahead and use, but I feel like I probably will have to mount this to something. So I haven't decided how far I want to take this from where he put it yet, but we'll see where we go with that. I'm going to be wrapping up all these little tiny things over time, over the next 2 months here, excuse me. So, and we have this scratch-built land speeder that was made by, I believe this is the one that Green Babu made, if I'm remembering everybody in the right order correctly. We have a piece from Green Babu, but I believe this is the one Green Babu made. So they put a little gun turret on it. Completely scratch-built land speeder. Just unbelievable. Put our little character just standing in it. We'll be like, hey, like my ride? So it's just like all these insane artists who helped me make this stuff to populate the world is just, oh, I can't wait to see what the photographers do with all this stuff. Should be awesome. So, 1 second, guys. All right. Yeah, there's some, I got more. Hold on to your butts. I got more characters. This is one of my favorites. We've got this little Admiral snack bar here with this little openable crate. I don't remember which thing this came from. Must be from like The Force Awakens, I think. But they took it and they made it into a beautiful backpack for this Mon Cala. And here's one of our speeder riders that was sent with one of the speeders. And here is another incredible looking droid. Oh, his arm must have fell off. I'll have to find that arm. Beautiful arm, and it looks, I think this is a little capacitor piece that they cut from electronics and glued it on as his like little eyepiece. So just pretty incredible work there. Oh, and I think this is the blaster that goes with this gentleman. Yep. This goes with this bounty hunter. There we go. And what else we got? All right. Another beautiful piece. I actually talked about this before. This is another piece made by Concrete Bubble. These are the same artist here, as well as the door on the big building that I had. Thank you guys for the likes again. So this is another one made by Concrete Bubble, like a cool little radio tower. Oop, and there's one of our little character rifles. So just some amazing pieces to populate the world. It just, I love this stuff. This is the stuff that I love making, but I knew if I tried to make all this in addition to what I was making, it would take me 5 times as long. So, here's the other, here is the other tardigrade. I showed the other the tardigrade. This person is a traveling companion. So this is the other handmade action figure. Tardigrade, hand sculpted, handmade, little tardigrade trader. And I'm gonna probably mount these feet into something so that we can plant it under the sand. So, but filled it with wire, made an underframe, added all the texture. There's no fabric, it's all sculpted. Little feather, just insane looking character. Love it, love it, love it. Looks kind of cool next to the gray here from Concrete Bubbles piece. All right. And here is some more junk. And I think this is White Wolf Dioramas that also made this for us. Trying to remember everybody here. But here is our what's up? What's up, CJ? Thanks for coming by, bro. So this is made by, what did I say? White Wolf Dioramas. Some more industrial looking accessories. Got another little character. I can't remember who made this one. I apologize. I'll have to look it up in my old videos and make sure it's all clear. But we have another character here from one of our contributors who already sent something else. This might be from Eliza J. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Oh, here's another accessory piece. I believe this one is also from Terry. Sort of a makeshift moisture evaporator. Absolutely stunning little piece. Goes with all of those over there. And one of the wonderful piece that Eliza Jones made. Oh, I found Terry's other piece. It's under this. This incredible Tuscan Raider hut. This thing is awesome. Look at that. It's like a gauze paper mache over like a really cool frame. Textured, detailed, little spiky pieces. Look at that. It's so great. Look at that. You got your little hut. You got your little light. You got your little hut liver. You got their droid over here. Look at that. We already got a little scene going. Isn't this going to look... I'm just excited to see all this put together. And if our photographers can get there with me, I would love to have them help me set up the world and tell the story. So it's not just completely on my shoulders, because that's what they do, is they take pictures. So this is the other beautiful piece that Terry made that I was talking about. This is the beautiful hut that Terry made. Look at that. Just awesome, awesome, awesome. So this is the piece that looks like Luke's house. So this goes with the other stack of stuff he made over here. Again, Terry was here in the chat last week talking about his experiences in Tunisia and restoring the original set from Lucasfilm. So if you want to go read that, go back and click watch live chat replay, and you can see everything Terry said about that. So I'm very honored to have his contribution, since he's actually been to Tunisia and seen these sets in person. So let's see. Okay, let me move all this amazing stuff over so I can make room for the other amazing stuff. Let me just do this really quick. Hold on. Momento. There we go. Maybe we'll do this. I'll just set it all up in the background of the shot here so you can see it all. Too much good stuff. I think that's AMPM's slogan, right? Too many droids. Good stuff. This over. There's pieces back here. Okay, so these are the pod racers. Oh, one more thing before the pod racers. These were made by Mighty Kane. He made us some baby rancors that are articulatable. They're not broken, they're just articulatable. So these are some baby rancors made by Mighty Kane. So you can turn the heads, right? And pose the arms. He actually sculpted these, molded them, and cast them, and is selling these on his store. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was selling them. So we've got 2 little baby rancors. I cannot hold them in my hands. There we go. 2 little baby rancors. Somebody can have as pets or in like a pet shop or a little bestiary. So cool. So cool. So cool. Okay, on to the pod racers. I have to lift my camera up. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Lets everybody know that we are live. So thank you for doing that. Really for everybody else, I guess. This is the main pod for one of our pod racers. Look at that. Look at that. So stinking awesome. So you can tell like some of this is made out of like Gundam parts, Gundam kit parts or whatever you call them, Gunpla stuff, as well as like an underframe. Yeah, see, look, there's your head and your shoulder, your neck gorget from the Gundam. But such a creative reuse of kit bashing of Gundam parts for a pod of a pod racer. And this is the energy coupler, and they made it magnetic. Look at that. I believe this is hot glue, painted hot glue. How cool is that? I would have never thought of that. All right, let's get the engines for this monster out. Here's one of the engines. And this is foam with accessories all glued to it. And they did a stellar job doing this. So there's your, I believe it faces this way. Yep. So there's one of your engines for the pod. They have connectors and everything too, so they're a little precarious. So I'm gonna have to probably bring clips and little holders and things to hold things in place. And I'm actually gonna have to probably bring some like hot glue to like quick tack things in place when we set up the diorama. But there is one engine. And here are the here's the connectors they made. Check it out. They're even bendy. So awesome. Makes me want to make a pod racer, which maybe someday in the future. I don't have time. I don't have time anytime soon, but maybe in the future. Maybe you guys can make pod racers. So there's our pair of sick-looking pod racing engines. I can hear Sebulba's pod racer in the background. So awesome. All right, and I believe this is the one made by Stuff of Tim. And I think the other one is Bugle Studios. You guys will have to correct me in the comments. Oh, let me show you the magnetic feature. So here's your magnetic connection and your other one. So you can have your power coupling. So stinking awesome. Okay, here is the pod. Yeah, I think that's the Stuff of Tim made this one. And this one is by Bugle Studios. Oh, and they made an alternate power coupling. I forgot. Here's a more purple colored one with this one is magnetless. So this one I really liked too. So this one comes with a character, and they made it out of droidicas, the little destroyer droid heads, as well as, I don't know if this was Gunpla parts as well, but it's a speeder and droidica arms and heads and whatever other kit bash stuff that they did. So making Star Wars out of other Star Wars. Love it. And the engines for this are incredible as well. These have the bendy things attached to them. Here is one of the beautiful engines. I forgot what they said they made this out of. You can go ask them. I believe this is the one by Bugle Studios. So just insane. I cannot wait to have this stuff all set up like outside, like they're parked getting a repair or whatever. You know, we've got like one of these, we've got the walking gonk coming over and like tinkering on it or whatever, you know. This is just going to be awesome to see all set up. And the other engine, oh, I don't know why I wrapped that one back up. Oh yeah, this is like a Gundam foot. I remember him talking about that. There's our pod racer, and the couplings go into the droidica hands. And there you go. There's your pod for racing. Just look at all this insane work that people did. Look at that. pure talent right there. Amazing. Now I got to put it all away safely. So let me put this all away, and I will show you guys how I'm going to do the pod racer canyons. And I'm actually going to build it in a smaller scale because I don't have enough camera and table space to make them as large as I want. So we're going to build them on a little bit smaller scale as a demo, and then I'll have bigger ones on display in Vegas, hopefully, if they have room for it. Just pack some of this up, get it out of the way. Round of applause for these insane artists. Absolutely insane. Right. Now this is pod making, right? That should be the new quote. I feel like there should be a subset of action figure diorama enthusiasts who just make pod racers, because I feel like you could make such a diverse range of the pod racer designs that it would just kind of never stop. Kind of like custom cars, custom pod racers. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? That's what George drew inspiration, like you've seen in all the documentaries from his street cruising days back in the 60s or 50s and 60s and whatnot, where you'd see cool cars driving around. So hey, why not just make a custom pod racer scene? All right, I'm just gonna have to very carefully put all this back in this box. Let me see if I can give you guys a more interesting angle while you watch me box things up. If I have a bag, I could put some of these things in. Yes, I do. I'm going to put some of these characters into plastic bags. I didn't have this well organized last time, but might as well do it now really quick. And I will have a full listing of who made what in Vegas. Somehow I know some little things about it are gonna get printed in pamphlets and brochures for the event, but I'm gonna have it on the experiment. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna have it in a big list or signs posted around. I feel like if I do signs posted around, they would draw attention away from the coolness in being in the diorama. So I feel like I need to do one big list and then just maybe have arrows or something pointing to each piece. I haven't really figured that out exactly yet, but something like that. Yum. Actually, I'm gonna wrap this one in some tissue paper, just because Fairy Yam is a little softer. I'm gonna wrap the Rancors in tissue paper too. There we go. Put these in here, and put the speeders in the bubble wrap. These little bubble wrap bags. Stop catching on things. Don't want to have to fix these for the artist that made them. I like them to stay fresh. Pod racer bags. It's a new thing. Or not pod racer, speeder bags. Speed bags? That doesn't sound right. Okay. I have to glue this little windshield on here again, but I'll fix that before we go. Thank you, Green Babu, for your beautiful contribution. I love it. Purple is incidentally my favorite color. Very happy to get a purple land speeder delivered for our experimental needs. All right. that. Yeah, I'll probably just set these on top. Yep. That should look well. Hey, there we go. That's much better. And Raul's stuff. And let me set these aside. Get working on the pod racer canyon. Okay. Some cards that people sent me. This one was from Green Baboo. I hope it arrives safely. This land speeder comes from a country far, far away. Can't wait to see the result. Thanks for the initiative. Greetings from Barcelona. Anna, Green Baboo, made that scratch-built land speeder from Barcelona, Spain. Insane. And let me make sure there's no sensitive information on this. Concrete Bubble. This is Concrete Bubble. Steve, thank you, Concrete Bubble. Been here many times in the chat. This is his little note to me. I will probably put, if these, as long as they don't contain any sensitive information, I will probably put these on display in Vegas, just so people can see your beautiful notes. I think I have a couple other ones set aside too. So I'll put these on display with some of this stuff. Maybe I'll frame it. I don't know. I want to make it cool and fun and special. Okay, so this was the test I did for the pod racer walls. So we're going to basically do a smaller version of this. You can already start to see what's going on here. Stacked up, cheap refrigerator box styrofoam. Right, but this is the basically the concept. I mean, obviously you can do this finer. You know, you've got like weird shelf edges in here that occur because of the blocks of styrofoam. But you can do this without that. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and it's very, very easy, and you can actually do it very, very fast. And I think part of the key to making it look like natural rock formations is kind of doing it fast. So with that said, here's some styrofoam. So we're going to make a tinier version of that. Framed plastic poses. No, I am taking these to Las Vegas to be displayed live, and hopefully we can get at least one of the photographers to Vegas to shoot it there, if not 2 or 3 of them. But if I have to ship it, I will. I was trying to find a way to kind of get us all in the same place at the same time, or many of us if possible. But yeah, it looks like at some point I may have to ship this all. So I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So that's what I'm using the donations and super chats on all these streams and stuff for, towards that. So, but that was always my plan from the beginning, was to have to ship it to the photographers. But then I learned 3 of our photographers, after agreeing to do that, are actually not that far from one another, and they're not that far from me, actually. So I can actually maybe kind of wrangle some of us together, or just drive it to them simply and do the photo shoots. One of our photographers is much farther away, though, so we'll see if we can get him here or get this to them. Whatever we have to do, we'll do. You know, we'll get it taken care of. But I was hoping to be able to have all this premiere at the same time, so that we can just have that big wave of excitement for the community, so we can all see it at the same time and not have to wait. So that was kind of my goal, is to try to get it all wrangled at close to the same time, you know. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really just going with the flow, you know. I've got a rough outline in my head of what we're doing, and I'm just kind of making it happen as things kind of make sense to do it. And it's been working out so far. Of course, things have taken a while because life gets in the way, but it's still going, and we're almost done here. So and everybody, I bought a new hot wire cutter, so you'll have to get used to me using this puppy. This is nice. This is the Hercules hot wire cutter. This is great. It's a great tool, and I like it. My only complaint is that everything is in centimeters, and I don't do anything in centimeters. So it'd be nice to have a model like this with inches on it that does all the same features. I couldn't find one easily accessible. I could find more expensive ones. But this one can do angles this way, angles this way. It can do the fence, and the fact that the fence and the base are metal. Well, the base is metal coated and the fence is metal, and the wire's on a continuous spool. is awesome. And you have variable temperature, which is very important, so that you can cut faster or slower, and you have a radial gauge, so you can do arc. So this is worth the money if you're in the market for a nicer hot wire cutter. Just keep in mind this is in centimeters, not inches. So that's the only thing. I might have to screen print or just draw my own grid on here of like inches for like 8 inches this way and maybe 8 inches this way to help myself. But you've got this beautiful rotary function here, you know. So anyways, just so everyone knows, yes, I finally got a new hot wire cutter. I still actually am going to use my hot wire foam factory for different types of cuts, but I use this now. So, but the hot wire foam factory served me well for like 6 years as my main job. So I'm just gonna slice this into like, I don't know, 2 or 3 pieces, and then we're gonna stack them together however we want. So let me just make sure this is aligned to the grid on the base properly. Yep. All right. Actually, I'm gonna cut them this way. And okay. There we go. Move this over here. And this is the variable speed or variable temperature slash amperage slash voltage, whatever, however they're doing it. I can't remember on this one. But it gives you a gauge down here of what thicknesses could work well. But I just kind of go by feel with most things. So I'm going to turn this on and plop it up to about 3. It's probably good because this styrofoam is quite weak. And you can actually see, actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but once this wire gets so hot, it actually warps. So I don't know if you can see the wire. Let me see if I can get you to see it on camera. It's kind of interesting. When I have it turned up above 3 and I don't have the wire taut, it warps. So see if you can see it warp. There it is. It's just warped. Yep. So you can see now if I pull on it, it straightens because it's heated up and it's relaxed. If I turn the heat off, watch what happens. Tightens back up. So what that means is when I go to cut at 3 or higher, at this tension on the wire, it's gonna give me a wobbly cut. So let me zoom back out, sorry. What I need to do is actually tighten this up. So that's what this is for. You can loosen this up and pull this wire a little tighter. See this? I'm gonna actually bend this down a little, and then I'm gonna tighten it. And then when I heat it up, it'll loosen up, but not nearly as much. So when I do that, yep, it just gets loose and it's not nearly as bad. So we'll just do this. See how fast that cuts? That's on 3. Watch when I turn it up. Oops, not yet. There it is. See how much faster I can go? As long as there's enough tension on that wire, you can turn it up and get a nice, fast, straight cut. So it works way faster than my hot wire foam factory. My hot wire foam factory had the jumper on it, which worked great. But it really was a workaround for not having the variable voltage or variable amperage. I can't remember which is which on this, whatever it is. But it worked well as a workaround for that. But this allows you to have a little bit more control of the temperature, which I did always want. I just hadn't gotten around to bothering with yet. So. You can cut much faster. So I would literally take my old videos and speed them up to this rate with my old hot wire foam factory with music playing in the background, so you don't have to wait to watch me finish my cut. So now I can turn the temp back down, turn it off, and we're good to go. So it is nice. I have not tried any other hot wire cutter, tabletop hot wire cutters. Well, I haven't owned any, I should say. I've messed with other ones, but I've never owned any other ones aside from this Hercules and the hot wire foam factory. I recommend both, but if you can afford to this one, which is like 3 times the cost of the hot wire foam factory, and you plan on doing a lot of this work and you don't just want to cut straight lines, it's worth the investment. I think these run about 140 bucks. So some of my other videos have links to the Amazon link if you want to use it. Otherwise, you can just find it on Amazon if you want. Okay. So now we're going to pretend like this is like 1/64 scale here. We're going to make tiny little canyon walls. And what I'm going to do is, there's a lot of ways that this could be done, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to start this. If I want to stack it like I did the other one, if I want to do it differently. Yeah, I will stack it. So we're just going to we're basically going to make rock formations that we can turn into walls or whatever, based on how we glue it together. So, where's my glue? Hold on. What up, Concrete Bubble? We were just talking about your parts earlier. You know, your contributing parts to the tiny art experiment. I mean. Okay. Oops. Of course my glue is spraying all over the place. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Hold on. We find the right glue. Okay, my glue is not mixed well and doesn't want to cooperate, so we're going to use a different glue. Not that one. Bad glue. I'm going to use my worst enemy glue. We're going to use some hot glue. Because it's fast. Woo-hoo. Who cares about quality? We need it done fast. Hot glue, here to save the day. Yep. Yeah, that glue doesn't want to cooperate today. Heat up. Hurry up. I got stuff to do. There we go. All right, I guess we can... uncap this. There's a link below for this, the Bob Smith Industries version, but it's the same glue, just has a different brand on it. If you want to get yourself a little 4-ounce bottle to test it, I think I have the link below. Yeah, it says clear foam glue. Or if you want to get this, you can get this. I'm going to move you guys closer to my power source. Are we going to do this early tonight? My big glue gun doesn't want to cooperate. This is why hot glue is the devil. Yes, Concrete Bubble. Absolutely. Channel your inner child Hoth diorama builder. That's what we're doing today. This glue stick I put in here is actually technically a little bit too small, so it doesn't want to hold very well because hot glue sucks, except for when I need it. then it doesn't soak. All right. So we're literally just going to randomly glue pieces together. Well, let's do this. Let's twist them. Let's do a column, and then I'll show you a column, and I'll do a wall, which is, you know, really not that different. They're kind of the same thing, but for that hot glue to heat up some more. Are you gonna work? Of course it's not. I'm going to push the glue through because it's, now I'm dedicated to it because this stupid grip won't grip the glue stick because the glue stick is like, I bought a cheap glue stick, that was the problem. And it's not rated properly. Size-wise. Make sure you check your sizes and you buy good quality stuff, especially tools and glue. Okay, there is a basic shape. Set that aside. Do something with these really quick. What's up, Star Marble? You missed everything. I gave away the secret to life and the purpose of life. No, I'm just kidding. I know you already know what that is. All right. There we go. 3 little quick styrofoam columns. Let's do another way because it's really just sort of speed building columns here. So let's do it like, yeah. I'm really just not worrying about this. You could, obviously you could, again, you could take everything I'm doing here and slow it down for yourself and get really specific. I'm literally just trying to do this quickly because this style doesn't need to be thought out for what I'm approaching. But if you want to create a specific shape or a specific look, then take what we're doing and retool it for yourself. So this is, I'm not worrying about anything like super specific with this because of what this is going to be when it's done. And you'll kind of see what I mean. So, well, you shouldn't kind of see. You'll see what I mean. But I'm just not stressing about how I'm doing things at the moment because of where I'm going with it. But once you see what I'm doing, you can take the concepts and apply them to whatever you want. And you could even coat the foam with different things to get different results, which is kind of part of the fun of this version. Okay. I'm literally being random, but I'm being subtly random. I know, because I know where I'm going with this. I'm doing things, but it won't really, I can't really explain it until you see it. So I'm just stacking things to cut them and restack them. Almost like in metalworking when they make Damascus steel, where they stack stuff, they cut it and restack it. It's kind of what I'm doing here. They do it on purpose to create patterns in the steel or the metal or whatever. I'm doing it to create replicatable shapes in my foam to give the appearance of randomness. So I'm actually going for randomness instead of regularity. So you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I know I've said that a lot, but you really will. And I'm doing both glues because when I do the next step, you'll see because I'm doing it quick, I need both glues. I need the hot glue to hold it in place while I do something else. And I need this glue to hold it together at the end so that the hot glue doesn't fall apart. So I'm using both glues to keep it together as I work. Again, you could slow down and use no hot glue and do what I'm doing, which would honestly be better for longevity, but this is just a demonstration. So for longevity's sake, you could slow down and not use hot glue and do a different thing. But you already kind of see there's like this random assortment of things happening here. That's the goal. It's raining here. I don't know if you guys can hear that at all, but it's a very subtle and even pitter-patter on my shop door and roof. It's very relaxing. Wouldn't have to put on an ASMR video with like the nature sounds, you know. I could just open the door and freeze to death. All right, so that hot glue is holding this together for me while the EPS glue makes it more permanent. All right, now that I've got this pushed through, I think it will grip. Yes. All right, this is the right size glue. This is one of the industrial gluers. I love these. Rapid heat ceramics. These are great for large things. I still hate hot glue, but it's a necessary evil. That's kind of how I see it, because I'm a dork. So there's some tiny columns we did. Now, get the hot wire cutter back out here. And where is my plug for that? There it is. This is heat gun. I don't know why I plugged that in. I don't need that yet. All right, back to the hot wire cutter. And everything I said before. And we're going to just slice this into some random shapes. Hey, look at that. There's a random shape. I'll do a bigger random, well, maybe I'll do a flat bottom on this one. There's another random shape. And let's see. Yeah, I'll do a kind of a smaller shape over here. There's a random shape. Here's another random shape. And now I'm going to split these random shapes in half. You don't have to do this part. You could make these, I'm trying to make, I made these double-sided so I could cut them into multiple pieces. But you could do this one-sided and not have to split them down the middle, especially if you go up in scale. If you go up in scale, things are not going to work as congruent as well going up in scale, because you won't have the sizable hot wire cutter to do it on. So there's that. So it'll be better to make this one-sided without doing this step. Unless you're working in a smaller scale, then you can definitely do this. Again, this is not the way. This is just a way, right? I'm not Dinjarin. I'm not saying this is the way. I'm just saying this is a way. All right? We are not Mandalorian on this channel, or Mandalorian cultists, or Mandalorian purists. We are diorama artists. So this is not the way. This is just a way. So please don't think that you need to go on somebody's channel and go, I saw Euler's Workshop do it like this, so that's how you're always supposed to do it. Please don't do that to anybody. Nobody needs that in their life right now. Okay. Is that enough? That's probably enough. Okay. Look at that. We've got a bunch of random beginnings of rock formations. And these are actually kind of thin, so I might spread some more glue on these later. But just imagine, if you will, if all these were about 5 times this size. That's what we would be going for a pod racer. Well, maybe not that big. Maybe like 3 times this size. For a pod racer canyon, 3 or 4 times this size. And again, and you can do it this way if you want to. It doesn't have to be this way. I'm just demonstrating the concept here, right? So you could do it this way, right? If you want to do them like that. And you could have cut them this way or this way. I would encourage you guys to experiment with what I'm doing here. So the next step is to make an enormous mess. And we're all accustomed to that, right? Let me just check something here with my heat gun. And you don't have to use a heat gun for this next step. You can use a hairdryer. I just want to see how well this melts without me trimming it. Yep, need to trim it. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. No, Famine Studios, that's the way. Making an enormous mess, that is the way. I'm comfortable saying that. Okay. Whoops. Wow, that's way too much glue. Whoops. Oopsie. Okay. So, time to make an enormous mess. My favorite thing to do. All right. These still need to cure some more before I dig into those, but I'll go back to the one we started on. Okay. This is where you take out all of your anger and frustration. So. And look at that. It's slightly more rock-like. Flip it around and do some more. And of course, you could do this with the hard foam, the pink foam. It's just, this stuff is so soft. It's really easy to work with for what we're doing here. So there's a lot of experimentation you guys could be doing here. So it doesn't have to be done with this foam. It doesn't have to be done in this size layers. In fact, you could do it all in one big solid piece if you want. So this is where we can get creative and cut like shapes out of it. Don't cut yourself. Be careful. Work smarter, not harder. Work safer, not stupider. If you're underage, make sure you get parents' permission or you have them supervising you if you're using a box cutter like me. There we go. I don't know, that's a little too flat looking. I can fix that. There we go. Okay, this is how you make a mess, kids. Yes, be careful. And I would say randomness at first and then trimming after seems to work better for me. If I try to trim all of it, then it might look too smooth. But it depends on what you're going for. Maybe that's the look you want. And you can also slice and tear. I do that a lot. Slice and tear. Gives you cool random shapes. And you can always glue these pieces back on if you want to. I don't really recommend trying, but you can. There we go. All right, you know what? I have to use the restroom again because I had too much caffeine, I think. Let me open this to something interesting for you guys here. I'll leave you for 2 minutes. Channeling our inner Star Wars nerd. You guys want to try and read that? I'll be right back. Okay. Intermission over. Did you guys learn anything cool from that? Let me know. A few hours later. Yes, sir. There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm Ace Ventura. When nature calls. Hey, it calls. Okay. I know, I need to get some waiting music. You're right. Hope you guys are learning something. Okay. Let's make some more of a mess here. Whee! Using the side of the knife on these because I can scrape them because they're really tall. And I'm just going to do some of that slice and break. Oh, look at that. I can stick that up there. It broke off, but it's still sticky. Let's stick that back on there too. Nope. I guess I'm not. There's also a way to do rubble if you're doing like ancient ruins. You can do this and create a rock texture if you want, or a stone texture. Not a rock texture. We're doing rock texture, but like a stone texture. And I will probably add some hot glue and fill in some of these gaps because I probably made them a little too deep, which is okay. Just realizing when I do the next part, this gap is going to look too odd if I don't put some chromolas in here. There we go. So I'm adding back some of my mess just to add more character. You'll see why. Nope. This one. Yeah. There we go. Probably made those little channels a little deeper than they needed to be. I was thinking in terms of the larger scale when I do it, and I have more room to put my knife in there and carve stuff, but I'm doing a smaller scale, and I didn't really think about not having room to get my tool in there, so oh well, that's okay. Improvise. Overcome. Diorama. Okay. Maybe a little bit more up here. Okay. That looks like a rock, or close enough to the bottom of a rock. It's the rock. We'll name that one Dwayne. Okay, I'm gonna slice this down before I trim it because I don't have a lot of room to get my knife into these places. Just to help myself out a little. I could use a little bit more glue. This is what you find out as you work it. It's like Oh, that needs more glue. And that needs more glue. And that's okay. That's what happens when you work quick. Part of the challenge. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to grab my knife. Backfilling here. Some of my cutoffs. This is also a fun experiment in learning how foam behaves when you do crazy things with it. It's fun to just kind of feel out materials and go nuts. You know, you see those videos of kids on TikTok or YouTube where they got into their parents' like baking kits or whatever, and they got flour all over the place. Just channel that inner child when you do this, and don't be afraid to make a big styrofoam mess, and you'll have a great time. There we go. Okay, there's another rock. And you see how, because I cut these at similar angles when I did it, I can make them look like an opposing byway for you know, I put a rock here. Kind of see how this is coming together. Whoops. Whoops. Sorry about that. Sorry. Hopefully that caught up. I got a battery warning. Let me get my plug and plug this in. Sorry, guys. So you can see how you can kind of start to create a little scene here, and how this is starting to look like rocks. And you've got a little pod racer canyon. It kind of doesn't look right from far away, but you're creating little scenes here, and these rocks are combinable now to create little vistas. Hope the audio is caught up to you guys here. I hope the audio is not delayed. So let me grab my charger here before my phone dies. Sorry, guys. Too many delays tonight. Where'd you go, plug? Hello, plug. I don't know where I went. Oh, here it is. I'm coming. Hang on. I'm coming back. Might be in slow motion, but I'm coming back. Okay. So really, we're kind of building literally like bones. The bones of rock walls and canyon walls. So I'm literally doing this in like 1/64 scale. So take these ideas and go get yourself some 6-inch thick pieces of foam. You know, when you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6-inch pieces of foam, you got yourself a 36-inch wide canyon wall, right? So you can scale this up. I like using this cheap white cellular foam because of it, because you can get this already beginnings of a rock texture out of it. When you use the pink hard foam or the insulation foam, you have to really add texture to it, and which is fine. You can do that. Maybe you're going for a smoother texture, but to get this really natural, random rough texture, you kind of got to do this with it, or do this foam with it. That's what I'm trying to say. So there is 2 big walls and a couple of little towers. And these might be dry enough to work with, or good enough to work with. I'm gonna flip this one over. Sorry guys about that, I didn't realize. I'm in a rush tonight, I guess. All right, so same thing here, just gonna slice down, same thing here, slice, drag it across. Some of this back on. I'll check the chat in a sec here, make sure you guys can everything's good. CH Anthony, awesome. Go for it, dude. Do it. Hit that foam. Go crazy. Okay. This is the one time I will recommend hot glue. Okay, I'm gonna just go with that so we can move on to the next step here. And let me clean up my mess really quick so I have room to do what I'm about to do. Memento, where's my trash can? Way over on the other side of the shop. All right, just clean all this up really quick. Vacuum the rest of this up later. Woo! Lovely. All right. Let's get everybody a little closer in here. Thanks again for all the likes, guys. 30 people in here and 29 likes. Not a bad turnout. Yep. White foam. White foam is the sand of the real universe, right? Sand is sand in the Star Wars universe that Anakin hates, but I should make a shirt that says foam. I hate foam. It gets everywhere. It's rough, it's coarse, it's uncomfortable. Right? I should make a shirt like that. Okay. Look at that. We got rock looking stuff. Okay. I'll plug my hot glue gun for a sec and grab something else. Okay. It's the heat gun. All right, you can do this with you can do this with a hair dryer if you want. I'm gonna use my heat gun just because that's what it's for, right? Just for doing this. Grab something to grab this with. What do I want to use? I will use my Phillips head screwdriver. I'm literally just going to do this and create a popsicle and just do this. And now it's all slightly more blended. Do another one. This also kind of seals it so it doesn't flake off when you try to do the next layers of things. I do recommend doing this in a well-ventilated area too, because there's gonna be fumes when you get stuff too hot and it gets a little melty. So, and this is where you're gonna want to do some fine-tuning, like some of these pieces melted up a little bit too much. But that's okay, I could re-glue this somewhere else if I wanted to. So, this is where you can refine your shape a little bit. And kind of correct your little errors and whatnot. Nope, I want that there. And this basically makes it kind of hard, like gives it like a sort of hard shell on the outside too. And you can kind of sculpt with the heat as well. So I'm sure you've noticed me doing that. Might re-glue some of these edges that popped off. That's looking all right. A little crack opened up there a little bit too much. I got the heat, too much heat in there, but that's okay. Fill that in later. And I just touched the tip of my heat gun like an idiot. That's okay. Be careful. Okay. So this next step is where you guys really get to choose a path forward here. Oh my goodness. 1999 from C.H. Anthony. I'm tossing the project this much all because Star Marble made a droid that reminds me of Gizmo Duck. That is very generous of you. Thank you so much. Yes, he made a Gizmo Duck K2SO. Thank you so much for that support. We will make sure it goes to something useful for the tiny art experiment, whether that's getting it somewhere, getting someone to it, or getting something we need to make sure it is maintained. Thank you so much for that. What's up, Duff Man? So we are melting our styrofoam with a heat gun, or you could do it with a hair dryer. And you see, the more, this is where I'm rushing it. But if you slow down and glue things better, the seams like this won't open up as much and you won't have to do as much sort of filler work later. So like, what was the one? Yeah, like this seam opened up quite a bit. Or you could use that if you want to crack in the canyon wall and you want to keep holding that out and make it look like a ship could fly through it. Keep heating it up. You can do that too. So this is definitely an experimental stage, but this is also the stage where you guys can go many different paths. So I mentioned before that this canyon wall, I don't have any on hand right now. This canyon wall, I did the exact same method to make this, right? It's the exact same method. But when I got to this stage, now I'm going to do it another way tonight, but you're going to learn two ways here. One I'm going to tell you, one I'm going to show you. This, I went and I got the cans. They're in the paint aisle at Home Depot. The cans of spray-on drywall texture, because it's a water base that doesn't have anything that's corrosive in it. So you can take it and you can spray it all over this foam to create an even textural coat that will follow and flow with the shape of what you just sculpted. Okay? So you can do that. That's what I did on here. And before the spray-on drywall texture was dry, I sprinkled play sand over it. Right? I just grabbed play sand. I just let it fall onto the texture. I shook it off. I let it dry. And then I came back and spray painted it, because once it's coated with that drywall texture and sand, the spray paint isn't gonna penetrate. As long as you coated it evenly, you're fine. So I came back and I spray painted it, and that gives it a nice hard layer that's hard to break through. We're gonna do a Mod Podge method, which is, it's the same concept using Mod Podge, but you can do it if you want to go get a can of that. You're feeling brave, go do that in a well-ventilated area. Spray on the spray-on drywall texture, sprinkle sand, and that's how I got this texture. So you can do the same thing with these. But I'm going to show you another method, which is, you know, it's kind of straightforward. Standard methods for miniature texture adding and whatnot. So we'll toss that, but looks like we're making a fish tank tonight. Oh, I forgot to do this one. Sorry. One more to do before we move on here. Just going to make my little foam lollipop here. There we go. Voila. Stay there. Okay. So now let me get some paper towels to lay down, because I'm about to make a mess. Okay, one at a time, and let me get some. Let me get a little bit of water with this. One sec. Okay, and let me move these things out of the way. This is a bucket of play sand. Oops, with my lid breaking. There we go. Good old Anakin Skywalker repellent. Just play sand from a 60-pound bag at Home Depot. Cost less than 10 bucks. All right, we need this. We need a chip brush. Okay, I'm gonna use a chip brush because they've got lots of bristles that spread out all over the place, and they're cheap, and I don't mind ruining them. So, Gizmo Druck. Okay, so this is where I'm going to use this as a way to thin out the Mod Podge. I'm not going to make a Mod Podge mix. I'm going to spread the Mod Podge on this, not super heavy, but like pretty densely. And before I do that, I'm just going to pick off any weird little things poking out that aren't going to look right once I cover this in texture, so I don't have to fix it later. This one looks pretty good. Okay. And I should probably pour this out in a tray too. Well, I'll do it here. Just do it in my palette. Just gonna spread, paint, pour. That's the word I'm looking for. My gosh. It's amazing when I go live, I can't speak English anymore. Okay. We're just gonna go pretty thick with this. And I'm gonna get my brush wet and then spread around that Mod Podge. I'm not gonna do a Mod Podge mixture. This is just another way of doing it. I could make a mixture that's like 50% Mod Podge, 50% water. Actually, probably for this, it would probably be better to have more Mod Podge than water. But I'm just solving that mixing dilemma by just spreading it on solid and then thinning, or laying it on solid and dense, and then just thinning it with a wet brush. And Mod Podge does start to dry pretty quickly, so, and we may do 2 layers of texture as well, depending on how well these gaps fill or don't fill. I'll probably have to do 2 layers, but we'll see. Okay, sand. This doesn't have to be an exact science, just get it on there. Okay. Already running out. You could mix the Mod Podge with the sand first as well. People like to do that. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to come out in similar results, just depending on how much of what you put with what. So just be aware. You can do that too. You can make a pre-mixture of gunk, or whatever it's called. I think there's a term for it. A lot of the terrain guys use, I can't remember. But where they'll mix sand and different types of rock and kitty litter into their Mod Podge and then spread it on. So you can do that too. I'm just doing it this way. So again, this is not the only way. This is just a way. I'm not as much of a zealot as Dinjarin is. I'm more open-minded about my Star Wars diorama making. My Dr. Hibbert impression. Go in the crack. Okay. Alright, so I need a little handle to grab onto. Well, no, I can get I guess I can get my screwdriver again. Let me do the screwdriver method. Do that. Yeah, probably going to need 2 layers of this, but that's okay. If you use the drywall spray-on texture, you can usually get 1 dense layer, then sprinkle your texture over that. I just, I didn't have any, and I thought I did before I came here. I didn't have time to run back to Home Depot and get it, so I'm telling you about that method and showing you the other method, which is just as good. It's just maybe like 2 more steps in between. It's not as immediate of a result. And it doesn't dry as quick as the spray-on drywall texture would, but you can do all of it. And please, guys, if you use any of the techniques I just demonstrated in this video, I would very much appreciate a shout out, or to let people know where you learned it or got inspired by it. If you cheeseburger it, like some of the, I think High School Creations was talking about that concept of taking something and adding your own spin to it. I would appreciate a shout out just so people can know that they have stuff that they can learn here. I don't claim that I invented any of these techniques. I'm typically just rediscovering techniques other people had discovered in the past, you know, so I'm excited that I figured them out and I'm sharing them with you guys, but I appreciate the shout out because it lets people know there's something to learn on this channel, you know, and it's worth their time to subscribe and watch. All right, there is our first rockola formation. Ola. And let's see. Now I'll just set that down. It's white glue. If it sticks, I'll just cut it off. Okay. Same thing here. You could even pour the Mod Podge on if you wanted to. If you had a way to catch your Mod Podge, you could do like this. Just pour it straight on if you wanted to. Like you're coating an ice cream cone in fudge or something. Doesn't really matter, however you want to do it. As Bob Ross would say, it's your little world. It can be whatever you want. Unless it's wrong. No, I'm kidding. He never said that. My brush is losing its wetness. So this is a trick to save Mod Podge too, is get your brush wet and then spread it around. Get the Mod Podge spread around more evenly. You can do this with paint as well when you're blackwashing things. Spread the paint on and then you with a wet brush. I think you guys saw me do that when I was black washing the Cambodian jungle ruins diorama. I just put paint right on the diorama and then got my brush wet and spread it around. Instead of trying to airbrush a super crazy thin coat of black, I just put the paint on it and then spread it around with a wet brush. Okay, see if I can coat this whole thing and then sprinkle the sand on. It's like making one of those pretzels from The Office where like Michael can't decide what topping he wants. So he's like, can you just give me all of them? And he's like, the works, you got it. I feel like I'm coating this with white chocolate and I'm gonna put the sprinkles on it in a minute. I just watched that clip the other day. Sometimes I watch those Office clips just to laugh without having to dedicate myself to watching a whole episode. They're fun. Over the lips and through the gums, look out stomach. Here we go. Okay. Let's see how we did. Our sand styrofoam kebab. This one's coming along nicely. Alrighty. Not bad. It looks like something that I meant for it to look like. Pod racer kebabs. So Disney, take notes. You could serve these in the Star Wars land at the park. There we go. Pod racer kebab. Woo, that one just jumped off. There we go. All right. Just 47 more to go. No, let's do a small one. Let's do the little, put the Mod Podge on first method. This is a small one, I can get it done quicker. Wet the brush. There we go. Needed some more sprinkles. Okay. See if I can get that one off. Yeah, there we go. All right. Oh, I forgot to show you guys that one. Here it is. It's so pretty. Looks like a little bantha turd. All right. Oop. Do 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 do. I think I do have some of that spray on drywall texture lying around. I think I just put it somewhere where I don't remember where I put it. So if I find it, I'll demonstrate it in a future stream. But it's really nothing special. It's literally just like spraying spray paint. So all you have to do instead of brushing Mod Podge on this is spray it with the texture and then sprinkle the sand. It's basically the same thing. That's why these methods both work. The drywall texture method was watching a video by this guy called the Kifness. He takes audio files from animals, cats and dogs, where they're making funny noises, and turns them into songs. And I've got one stuck in my head. It's pretty hilarious. Okay. Junk off this one. Did that reset it? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So my lovely wife called me, and she forgot that I was on a stream. And every time she calls me, yeah, Trevor, you're calling me in the middle of a stream on my phone, interrupting the stream. I appreciate you, but you're going to do the same thing my wife did, which is cut off the audio. For some reason, when I get a call in the middle of a stream, it deletes the audio. I have to leave and come back. I forgot to do that last time. I'm sorry. So I haven't really said anything super crazy. I've just been kind of chit-chatting, so my apologies. I've just been talking about how this method works great with 1 or 2 layers. This kind of looks like fried chicken to me for some reason. I would encourage you all to try this with the spray-on drywall stuff over the foam as well. So don't worry, I didn't say anything like super insane. That, you know, I didn't give like the secret to life or anything, or like, you know, how to be a successful underwater basket weaver or anything like that. So, but I appreciate you guys telling me the audio wasn't there. I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the stream. So I appreciate you guys yelling at me in the chat. So my wife called me and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm on a stream." And then she got off the stream and then she called me to go, "Hey, I looked into your stream and there's no audio." And then I said, "Yeah, that's because you called me." So I forgot to turn on my call forwarding. I normally turn on call forwarding to prevent getting a call during a stream, but I've forgotten to do that a few times. So my bad. I'm sorry. But I'm glad you guys like hearing me ramble so much that you want the audio back. I'm always afraid that I'm, you know, people are like, "Oh my God, what is this weirdo talking about?" I'm just here for the diorama stuff. I don't want to hear about his crazy adventures when he goes to see Chili Pepper concerts. So, anyways, thanks for sticking with me, guys. Sorry about the audio. What was that, like 20 minutes of lost audio? 15 minutes of lost audio? Sorry, future watchers / listeners. If you watch the live chat replay, you'll get to see everybody complaining. Oop, I had a bristle come off. Everybody complaining. So I've just been kind of, I guess, talking to myself about nothing. That's okay. I forget that when I get that call, it does that. So I just got to remember to do my call forwarding so that if anybody calls me, they don't cut it off. Or if Mrs. Euler's workshop forgets that I'm doing a stream. So contrary to popular belief, you know, and I mean this as a joke, you know, all of us as collectors and diorama makers, we have another half or a friend or a family member who's like, "Why do you do that?" Or "You spend a lot of time doing that." And so, you know, it's not their life, you know, it's our hobby, or not their hobby, it's our hobby, excuse me. So sometimes they'll forget, hey, maybe we're doing something. So, but that's okay. That's incidental to the lifestyle. That's why I got to remember to do that for you guys. So, sorry. I feel bad. It's my fault for not doing a call forwarding. But I haven't said anything other than what you heard before the call, so you should be good to go. I was talking about the Kifness. I don't know if that's what I said off audio. There's a channel called the Kifness who takes he's a musician, and he takes audio from animals like cats and dogs making funny noises and turns it into songs. I was watching some of his videos the other day. I stumbled across his videos, and they're pretty hilarious. He takes like cats making weird like wow noises, and then he makes it into a song, and they're actually pretty good songs. Surprisingly, for just animal audio, they sound great with beats behind them. Okay, chicken fried dioramas. That's kind of what that looks like. Okay, let me clean this one up here. This one's starting to dry. I'm I'm getting used to the pouring on method here. Actually, I'm kind of spoiling myself. You end up using probably a little bit more Mod Podge than you need, pouring it on, but it does spread it a little bit more evenly. And I'm finding that I may not need to do, I need to do like the main coat and then like maybe a touch-up coat instead of 2 coats like I would normally do with this Mod Podge style of doing this, instead of the drywall, spray on drywall putty, or drywall spackle, not spackle, what am I looking for? Texture. Spray on drywall texture, that's the word I'm looking for. So, but this is, it's working out just fine with a dense first layer of Mod Podge and then just a touch-up layer. So, this is how to make Anakin deterrents. Live on the channel tonight. So if you are a member of the Jedi Order or the Jedi Council that needs to figure out how to take down Darth Vader, just make yourself a bunch of miniature sand features and throw them at Darth Vader, and I think that'll negate his force powers and you'll be able to overthrow the Empire. This is all Luke had to do. I don't know why Yoda or Obi-Wan didn't tell him. All that Luke had to do was go make some miniature fried chicken dioramas that look like sand, and there you go. Empire defeated. Done. Defeato. Finito. Yeah, this seems to be working well with just a dense layer of Mod Podge and a touch-up layer. So I haven't done this in a while, so you know, you always feel like you're going to forget how to do it if you haven't done it in a while. I did this in tests a long time ago to make sure my idea would work, and it did. And then I did it again on that big piece over there, and now I'm doing it on smaller pieces again for the first time in a long time. And I'm always afraid that I'm going to forget how I did it and make a fool of myself, but thankfully I've only slightly made a fool of myself by losing the audio. Okay, there we go. Fried chicken diorama. So I'm going to call this one done. Even though there's some white poking through, I'd feel comfortable painting that. I don't think this one really needs, maybe just a little bit more. And once the Mod Podge starts to cure too, you'd be surprised you can touch this and the sand and the goop won't come off on your fingers really. Or if it does, it's just a little bit. It's not a big deal. And that one's good. This one we'll do a little touch-up layer on. Doesn't need much. Really doesn't need much here. Maybe a little bit more than I thought. Make sure too you look at it from not just the down angle but the up angle, because you'll notice little spots you didn't catch. Even though there was glue there, you might not have hit it with sand. Just a little thing I'm noticing. I'm catching more of that than I thought that I would. But it's not a big deal. And this is going to be really strong when it dries. That Mod Podge, as you guys know, that stuff, especially if you lay it on dense, it really creates a thick coating. Oops. Another reason for wetting your brush is preventing big droplets of Mod Podge from drying in the shape of a droplet. So you put a thick layer of Mod Podge on it and then you brush it down and thin it out with water on your brush. There won't be like a thick droplet of Mod Podge, and then you go to paint your piece later, right? And then you find out like there's a weird ugly giant drip, and it clearly looks like a miniature that wasn't done right with that big drip on it, you know? So thinning it out with the water on the brush will help minimize the chance of that happening. And some of this stuff I don't think about anymore, I just kind of do it, but that was something I just remembered as to why I do the wet brush method. A damp wet brush, so that it keeps the Mod Podge from puddling or pooling or creating big drips. And so some of these little seams that occur will end up looking like little caves. Yes, Kentucky Fried Dio. So some of these little inlets and stuff will end up looking like caves. So you might want to leave them, especially in a smaller scale. Like these actually look really nice like that. That looks like I could take a little like N scale person and put them right there, and like put a little fake tiny campfire there, like they're just chilling, waiting to watch the pod race for free, because they're like Bedouin village dwellers. So Okay. There's that one. Move on to this piece of chicken fried steak. And yeah, so you can see here when it looks good like this, but when I turn it like that, you can see I missed all this in here. So, no biggie. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your Kentucky Fried dioramas just hypnotize me. All right. Could even get crazy and like put a bunch of sand in a tote and coat these in Mod Podge and shake them around in the tote. Nah, don't do that. That probably wouldn't come out very well. Probably would be a big mess. It would ruin the tote. Get out of there. I'm accidentally tearing up little pieces of this paper towel. There we go. Nope, a little bit more. Keep missing a spot right in there. There we go. See that? There's a gloppy glop happening. I'm just gonna brush that out of there. I don't want no gloppy glops. There we go. Okay. Some more over here. Almost done with this one. Doing all right. Get in there with it. Feel like I'm seasoning a bunch of ribs to cook them or something. Especially since this looks like fried chicken. I'm hungry now. Oh, you see that? There's a run of glue right there. So I'm gonna wet my brush and just dab that out. Just like that. And then sprinkle some more sand over it. There we go. This needs some. Like that. Okay, that should be good. Well, no. I see more. I keep finding more. This one was a little bit more complex than the others, I guess, shape-wise. Keep finding more crevasses. Okay. Chicken fried Tatooine canyon. Oh, I can't. You know what? I need to like take a picture of this and put the KFC logo next to it. And be like, on Euler's Workshop, we learned how to make chicken fried dioramas. Actually, that should be the name of the video. When I clip this out of the live stream, maybe I'll name it Chicken Fried Dioramas in honor of all of your fine comments tonight. Or Chicken Fried Rocks. I don't know. What do you think would get people, you guys tell me in the chat, I'll look here in a sec. What do you think would be most likely to get people to click on the thumbnail? If I wrote Chicken Fried Diorama or Chicken Fried Rocks or Kentucky Fried Diorama or Kentucky Fried Tatooine, or I could put a picture of Anakin burning on the shores of Mustafar next to one of these and say, Anakin likes his Kentucky Fried Chicken extra crispy or something like that. Or would that be too dark? Oh, my brain goes to dark places. I just don't talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. Kentucky Fried Anakin. Sorry, bad joke. Bad joke. Bad joke. You were my brother, Anakin. You were supposed to teach me the secret recipe, not leave it in darkness. Okay. There we go. Okay. I've successfully made another mess. Let me try to clean it up. Go in the water. Go. Okay. Kentucky Fried Dios, Oiler Fried Dios, Kentucky Fried Dioramas. Good name for a studio. Yes, it is. Yeah, man. Somebody down in the South, you know, who like somebody with a big white mustache. Kentucky Fried Dioramas or something like that. Please go away. Please go away. Where'd my trash can go? Oh, over here. Please go away. Yeah, Star Marvel. Maybe when I'm old enough, I could be Kentucky Fried Dioramas if I get a white mustache. Whew, I need to recover my shop table. Maybe that's something I'll do before the new year, for the next round of streams for next year. Okay. I don't know where my sweepy panty thing is. I don't know where it is. I'll go find it later. Okay. Let me bring you guys down to chicken fried level here. Let's get close up. 35 likes. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Done. Okay. Cool. So here are our Kentucky Fried Rocks. So that's one. So this is, of course, this is just with the color of the play sand. I would absolutely paint these later, right? Just to cover up the white spots and even out the color. I would paint these with probably a base coat. It depends on if I want to go more red or more orange or more just tan or even more gray with the color, depending on what you want it to look like. If you want to go gray rocks, maybe it's not Tatooine, maybe it's some other planet. I would start with a dark tone, and then your mid tone's the brightest, strong. I'm not going to do it here because the Mod Podge isn't dry enough, so I'll have to maybe paint it on the next stream or something like that, or maybe paint them all and paint one on the next stream. But I would paint I wouldn't do black because unless I'm doing gray or I want them to look like super dark brown. I would probably do an undercoat of burnt umber, and then I would come back with nutmeg or like that French beige spray paint color, and but in like an acrylic, and paint it as my main color. And then I would do a dry brushing of a lighter color, and then I would come back with a wash of the second color that I used, and then I would come back, and if I needed to retouch up highlights with the dry brush, I would do that to even it back out, and then maybe another wash of a lighter version of that mid-tone. And that's probably what I would do to color these. So, but I would pick a color scheme, whether it was gray or a more red orange or a more brown or brown orange or an orange brown or whatever, right? So a base color, a mid color that's really the main color that I'm going to tone up and tone down, a light color for dry brushing, and then a mixture of the lighter and the darker in washes and dry brushing to blend it all back out however I want. Of course, you could come with an airbrush and you could put like lines in it, whatever you want to do, right? But that's just the base of how I would start painting these. Kentucky Fried Diorama walls. But this is basically how I did this bigger wall. This one was just colored with spray paint. And instead of using thick Mod Podge, I sprayed on drywall texture, the regular, not like regular knockdown drywall texture. And then I sprinkled the sand. So it's the same method, but instead of a thick layer Mod Podge, I used the drywall putty or drywall texture spray. They both have a great effect. Honestly, I'm really liking the way this one looks more on the smaller scale of rock. So, but on the bigger ones, it may be more efficient to use the spray because it'll coat it quicker. So, you know, I would encourage you guys to experiment. Don't carve your Mount Rushmore of diorama rocks and then do a method over it and find you don't like it. Do some small pieces like I did. Do 3 or 4 like I did, and just experiment with both methods, or create your own version, or do the Mod Podge mixture, or whatever you want to do, and have fun and experiment, because that's the only way we get better, and that's the only way we learn, is by trying it. You know, there's only so much watching of other people you can do until you have to try it. And a lot of what I do is combinations of things I learned from other people and my own ideas and my own adding to my own ideas over time, and discovering new things by accident through mistakes. Some of this was mistakes, and some of this was trying to work with materials I had sitting around because I didn't have money to go to the store, and then you found out they worked better or different, you know. So you just got to dive in and start doing it, you know. So don't be afraid to do it. Yes, White Vegeta, they're not to scale. Would styrofoam be able to accept this without melting? Are you talking about which thing are you talking about, Bob Dylan? Because everything I showed won't melt the way I just did it and talked about it. So the spray-on drywall texture in the can is non-corrosive. So it won't melt the styrofoam. It won't melt the styrofoam. And you can use styro goo, which is just EPS glue. See that? EPS foam glue. And hot glue, and you can even use spray-on Gorilla Glue. I believe the spray-on Gorilla Glue is like an epoxy-based spray. It shouldn't melt the styro. I know it won't melt the hard foam. I'm pretty sure it won't melt this. I haven't used it in a while, but I'm pretty sure you'll be okay to do that. So if you want to do big sheets of this stuff, you can do that. So this is stuff, as you can see, we did this in... Let's see, I talked about the dioramas, pieces, and other artists for probably the first 30 minutes. So we did this in like, what, an hour and 10 minutes, you know, something like that. No, more than that, sorry, hour and 40 minutes. We did all this in an hour and 40 minutes. So just think about when you get good at it, how fast you can bust out a bigger piece or a rock formation, or you can make archways and bridges or whatever you need for your diorama, you know. So I'll paint some of these off screen, and I'll save maybe 1 or 2 to paint on screen. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So maybe I'll take a picture of these, and I'll change the thumbnail to a chicken fried diorama thumbnail. Okay. Ugh. Excuse me, that was a burp. Okay. Look, I got a new shirt. It's an anniversary present from my wife. So, no stream next week because we are celebrating our 11-year anniversary. All right, thank you guys for being here. No stream next week, but I do have a skill video coming out, which is a conglomerated clip of some of the live stream stuff. So you'll see what that is on, I think, Wednesday. I have that dropping. The Wednesday after that, the 21st, I drop the public version of the skate park warehouse diorama build that I did. Thank you, Bob Dylan. The skate park warehouse diorama build that I did for Sergeant Bananas. So you guys will get to see how I assembled that with some explanation of how I built it. The first few minutes of it, the first 4 minutes of it is just me assembling it, putting things together, and showing reference photos and reference video over just some music that I wrote myself. And then the second half of the video is me taking the camera around like I would do here on a live stream, explaining everything. And feel free to ask as many comments as you want there. The workshop masters got their own video, which is actually more than twice as long as the public video, with more behind the scenes as my thank you to them. You can still pick up everything from the public version, but I just spent more time on that for them as my thank you to them. And they already have access to both of those videos a couple of days ago. So if you guys are interested in that, check out being a channel member. I do appreciate those that do that. Helps keep me going, keep this going. And I'm trying to outline a plan, by the way, for next year. That's a little bit more structured than this year, because this year was a lot of figuring out how to do the live streams, how I wanted to do it for you guys, how I could do it, and incorporating that with my commission work and my regular life, you know, that's completely separate from dioramas and miniatures. And so I'm trying to come up with a little bit more consistent of a plan so that everybody, you know, has an easier time knowing what to expect. So I'm still kind of formulating that in my head. So no stream next week. You'll get a skill video. I might release one of my videos that was just for channel members for a while, maybe like me repairing my wife's purse, just for some content. You guys can listen to my crazy, weird voice if you want to. And then the week after that, we'll do a end of the year stream. You know, I don't know. I probably will do that one early too, because I have dinner plans that week too. That's also sort of pseudo anniversary stuff. I'm trying to find a time to do a giveaway. I don't know if it's going to be that week or the week after. I don't know if I'm going to do it that week or the first week of next year. I haven't decided yet, but I still am going to give away, wherever I put it, the first live diorama we made on this channel. I'll probably give away some of this other stuff we made on the channel too. I'm going to keep some of it so I can take it to shows and stuff, but I will give away some of it too as a thank you to you guys. If you are a channel member in any capacity and have been for at least 1 month, when I get to those giveaways, you automatically have an entry. You don't have to be present, and you don't have to comment on my like announcement video, which I'll probably do something like that for the giveaway. But I'll do like a pre-announcement video explaining what you need to do to be there, or what I'm gonna do, so you guys can be prepared if you want to win something or just hang out. And we'll probably just hang out on that stream and talk, and maybe I'll build Legos or show off my toys or something like that. Not like a shop tour, but I have a whole collection of toys you guys have never seen in a box here. So maybe I'll pull some of those out and we'll talk toys and talk dioramas, and I'll give some stuff away as a thank you. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that in 2 weeks or in 3 or 4 weeks, but sometime in the next 4 weeks we will do that. You guys will get fair warning. And yeah, I've got all kinds of cool stuff planned. I'm working on some, I'm not going to say what they are yet, but I'm working on a completely new prop. I have not seen anybody yet scratch build in the action figure diorama world. I'm sure somebody's done it before, but I'm coming up with my own method for it. And once I figure it out and I'm comfortable with it, I'll share that technique with you guys. So that'll probably be coming in the next few months. I'm going to be doing another brick video, and maybe some other, like a different style of brick. I have a commission coming up where I have to do some alleyway stuff, and I figured good opportunity to videotape another brick skill for a future video. And I'm finishing that AT-AT still. I still have my diorama bases for sale, my cast hard plastic hand-painted diorama bases for sale at my Etsy shop that's linked below if you guys want to support me that way. If you're not interested in being a channel member, you could buy one of those, or you could learn how to make chicken fried dioramas and do that too. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. Yeah, I see CH Anthony, what slows you down is overthinking how I'm going to get a certain effect. Yeah, you know, you have to go with the flow sometimes. Sometimes you're not going to get exactly what you want the first time. In fact, it might not even be till the 4th or 5th or 6th time, but you'll learn really cool stuff along the way that you'll figure out how to use on another thing later. And that's honestly most art in any form, whether you're learning how to draw superheroes or learning how to make miniature Tatooine sets or learning how to make cosplay armor. You're going to learn things along the way that you're going to use later that might frustrate you at the time, but will be helpful later, I promise. So don't be too mad at yourself, because you'll be happy you made those mistakes later, because you'll be able to apply what you learned later. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I think I showed off pretty much every single piece of art that was contributed, except for there was one other thing I was thinking about, but I think I showed it. Yeah, it's all shown. Never mind. It's all shown. I'm going to be finishing up the tiny art experiment off screen. We'll probably do paint one of these rocks or 2 of these rocks when I come back in 2 weeks, and we'll do something else on that stream if I don't do the giveaway. And I'm just kind of thinking as I'm talking here, trying to make sure there's not something I'm not forgetting. But yeah, International Market of Miniature Artisans in February. I will be there. I think there's about 80 vendors now, all different miniature artists, dollhouse artists, some action figure guys like myself, people who are really awesome at their craft. If you want to go down there and buy accessories for your action figures, they just show that they're going to have on display this artist from, I forgot what European country, but this incredible miniature fruit that, oh my gosh, it looks like real fruit. And I'm not talking about the stuff that's like, oh yeah, that looks nice. I'm talking about, it looks like you could pick it up and take a bite out of it. Incredible stuff. So they're going to have other artist stuff on display from around the world alongside the tiny art experiment that we all made together. And as well as I'll have some of my stuff there and showing off some of the stuff for the channel. Other people will have everything from miniature teddy bears to entire modern dollhouses and chairs and food and whatever. And they're going to have like a dinner, a 3-course dinner for people. If you want to go, you can go. It's open to the public too, before they sell out tickets. And it's Vegas, so you can go to a show, you can go hang out and do games or whatever you want to do. So that's a very loud plane. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream right there. I got to go home and kiss my wife. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you always for your support. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. And if you're watching in the future times, welcome to the past. Have a good night.